What was your now 24 hours afterward? What's your takeaway on yesterday's game? What sticks out to you?
Um, it's a bunch of different things. It's kind of a lot of things that are kind of too hard to like. There's just so much going on, obviously for us, playing a lot of guys, at the same time, have a full team now and, trying to figure out rhythms and rotations and what lineups fit and what lineups don't. Lack of urgency, just from, when we are on the court. Like I said, it's not just one thing. It's a bunch of things that, we have our challenges right now, but got to figure it out eventually. So,
how much do you lean on your championship experience through kind of like the ebbs and flows of the season?
I lean on it every day. It's not even really about leaning on it so much because it's just like who I am as a person. I feel like, that type of mentality and just, being around great players is just like kind of molded into me. I try to come in every day, work, focus on the work, bring attention to detail to games, and play high effort with energy. That's what a championship mentality kind of is. So, obviously it's tough sometimes because you may do everything you think you're doing, having attention to detail, locked in, having energy, but you still lose. But that's the NBA, so.
Do you know slippage when you see it, not only in a game, but like over the course of a couple games? Can you kind of feel that in terms of rhythm, in terms of just not being where the standard was when you guys were 10-3?
I mean, we've had slippage for 30-something games. So, I mean, I think we started 10-3 and then like 13-21. So, that slippage has definitely been there. Asking me, how to get out of that. It's a little bit different, a little hard for me to, say, but, everything just starts back from a defensive mindset. Look back when we were 10-3, we played defense. We don't play defense no more. Bottom line. Obviously, you look at a 10-3 and be like, oh, well, they play defense, but also, we're like an unbelievable team under 3 minutes, so, you can mess up all game, but hit a game-winning shot and it'll be all good and you'll take the win. But, we've had our issues even when we were 10-3. I remember talking back then and, everybody was like, joyful. We're 10-3. What's the outlook on this team? Are we contending? I'm like, hey, we got to slow down. Like, we still haven't hit 20 games, 30 games. So, that's kind of where we're at.
I believe you were with the same draft class as Thomas Bryant.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
What's your relationship with him like, and what's it like seeing him back?
Well, I mean, he's a completely different player than what he was in LA. Our rookie year, he didn't play at all. He was in the G League a lot. And, watching him from afar, I think last year, before he was hurt, he was playing phenomenal, pretty good basketball. 14-6, got a contract extension, especially for someone that was a second-round pick. That's big time, And, for him, he plays with a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. Sometimes it may, it's a little bit too much energy when it's like, hey, you need to kind of focus a little bit, within the game, simmer. But he adds a interesting dynamic, being able to spread the floor and open up lanes, whether it's for me and Brad, try to get downhill, try to get to the rim. And he can roll too. He can catch lobs. You can throw it to him. He can pass. He's definitely an offensive oriented five. That's type of that prototypical type that the league wants. So
You don't seem to be as much of an emotional player as
I mean, I don't know.
maybe
It all depends.
Yeah, right. I guess how does your kind of personality mesh with players like that? You know, guys that bring a lot of energy.
Oh, fine. Yeah, I play with anybody. I mean, doesn't matter to me, you know. So.
How would you say your relationship really has developed over the last month or so?
Oh, Rudy, that's my guy, man. He's a good kid. He's a good dude. You know, just being around him, obviously, when he's been with the team has been great. You know, building a little relationship with him and, you know, just having an authentic friendship. You know, I think that's, you know, important in this type of business because there's not really that many authentic relationships. It's a business. At the end of the day, you know, you maybe have a teammate for a year and then they go somewhere else. But, yeah, we get along. So,
So a couple of years in, but what do you guys want to go?
I mean, we talk basketball, talk life, talk food. I don't know. Talk about a bunch of different things. Yeah. Nobu. We talk about Nobu a lot. I mean, that's not, you know, but it is. So, yeah.
All right, Kuz. So we got time for one question from Zoom. We'll take it from Neil.
Hey, Kuz, I know, the 30 games that you're talking about the slippage for, it's tough with changing rotations, people in protocols, and all that stuff. But what do you think are the immediate near-term small fixes you guys can make to improve the defense?
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, you can keep it simple and be generic and say you got to play hard, but playing hard doesn't equivalent to playing good defense. You know, you still have to have this smart intellect to, you know, be at the right rotation, be at the right time. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe coach plays a defensive lineup. I don't know, but you know, I think the biggest thing is being connected. You know, that's one of the areas, you know, we need to be more connected at. And especially, you know, if you look at teams across the NBA that have great defenses, the Jazz, you look at the Miami Heat, you know, they play great team defense. They're connected. They help one another. They cover for one another. And that's something that we don't necessarily do. So I think that's the area of growth that we can have, you know, from starting with communication and then also trusting that, you know, if I go help a teammate, that my backside teammate is going to help me. And that's the type of mentality you have to have a great defense. So.
Thanks, Kuz.
Yeah.
All right, Kuz. All set. Thank you.
What stuck out when you had the chance to really study?
Obviously, the three-point line was a problem. I thought just the attention to detail, the urgency. Early in the game, I thought, you know, allowed them some open looks that really got them going. You know, just the level of physicality, lack of communication. And once he saw a couple go in, now he's shooting into a big basket. Obviously, we tried to ramp it up, and you know we weren't very good with our technique and body position, and you know it was inefficient.
How difficult has it been for you to remain patient with the slippage that's occurred over the last 30 games, and with you seemingly repeating yourself over and over again to the team without trying to regain that defense?
It's very frustrating. I mean, I'm not the only one frustrated. They are too. It's not just you know, on them. Yeah, they have a big role in it, but I got to help them fix it. So it's you know, we've said since day one, we win together, we lose together, and we're going to just keep, you know, pounding away until we get the desired results. You just can't quit on it and think it's going to fix itself. So however long that takes, we'll stick with that. But it's not just them; it's us.
You thought about the passing for your big men this year? It seems like some of them have shown flashes. I'm curious, your take on them passing out of the high post.
Well, we play through them quite a bit, in our 5-out spacing. I think still it's a work in progress. TB is obviously a late addition to what we've done. I think that can change the dynamic a bit. His ability to shoot the three, teams are going to have to honor that, which hopefully will open up some cutting, so we can make plays behind that. I think Gaff has gotten better as the season has gone along. Struggled a bit early. Teams would pressure him, and it just really wasn't didn't always play out well. I think he's learning to handle that pressure, slow himself down, and he understands what we're looking to play out of.
Earlier this season, I remember asking you what kind of action or play you really wanted to see defensive improvement on pick and roll. Is that still the case, or is there something else you've been seeing recently?
Well, I think overlapping, it is pick and roll. I mean, it's such a dominant part of the game. But then the one-on-one, I think some of it is understanding personnel. The second part is, are we showing a crowd behind it? We feel at times we're leaving guys on an island and asking a guy to single-handedly guard, an elite offensive player. And that's hard enough as it is. So, yeah, we can do a better job at the point. We can do a better job of understanding personnel and taking the strength away. But we also have to do a better job behind it. That guy doesn't see open gaps and just has a feel for freedom to play, downhill. Can we take some of that away? It's not going to be foolproof, but other teams, we've seen it. They do it to us. Can we be in the right spot initially? Can we force, multiple passes and then fly around? It's not always going to be perfect, and guys aren't always going to be in the right spots, but do you have that cover mentality where regardless of, where the breakdown occurred, do we keep coming throughout the possession and cover for each other?
And going back to Thomas Bryant, you mentioned, what do you notice from him
His energy. He plays with a lot of energy. He's very passionate. I think it's going to be good for him and us to see him get more minutes and continue to integrate into what we're trying to do. Defensively, he does a great job of communicating. Right now, he's not always in the right spots, but that's something that it's going to take some time. But his overall energy and his presence has been solid.
What was the reason for trying out the five position?
We were down 20, but we talked about it actually. Even before he was kind of cleared for 5-on-5. Early in the preseason, we talked about, maybe using him as a 5 at times, downsizing. We've done that with Kyle, Davis at times in small sample, but just to give us a different look. I just wanted to try it at that point. Couldn't hurt. We're down double digits late in the game and just give it a look. And so it's something we're going to continue to play with. At times I think we're going to need it.
So this is part of the progression of this.
Potentially, we're not saying that it's going to happen, but in those moments, in those games where the game's out of hand, you're up 20, you're down 20, it gives you an opportunity to kind of play with some lineups, some combinations, move guys around in different spots to see what you like.
Everybody who was there yesterday was able to practice today, like Denny, for example.
Yeah, he went through all the non-contact stuff. Both him and TB were set out the contact.
All right, Coach, let's transition over to Zoom. We'll start with Ava.
Hey, Wes, I got a question about Kuz for you. Just in terms of kind of his ability, how he stepped up with you guys, but just the different roles that he's played throughout his career. What does it take for a player to be kind of good at adjusting their game that way? Is it as simple as like they're willing to do it, or they have, they're willing to listen and learn? What's kind of, how does that show up in him?
I mean, his case is somewhat unique. I think it is some of that, willingness to take on a different role. Some of it's just opportunity. Where guys are playing a certain role, and maybe feel, they haven't had an opportunity to showcase some of that because they haven't had to. So, this is a new platform, and obviously the, absences that we had to endure allowed him even more opportunity. And he took advantage of it. So I think it is some of the willingness, some of the maturation in a young player. I still look at him as a young player. He's been around for a while, but we've seen growth in him every year. And then to couple that with the opportunity, I think all those things have come in play and tipped in his favor.
Has there been anything specific that he's been working on his game, or that has kind of you've seen grow just over the course of this short season?
I mean, it's tough to tell with, this is really the only side of Kuz that I've been, closely associated with. You see a guy, you have an idea, maybe, correct or incorrect in your head about, what his game is about, but that, that was a different situation. So maybe that's a limited scope. Now that you're around him for, 40 plus games, maybe we're seeing the true essence of who he is as a player.
We'll go over to Christos.
In last night's game, did you learn anything about your team that you didn't know it before that the game against the Celtics?
I'm sorry, say that first part again.
Yeah. In last night's game against the Celtics, did you learn anything about your team that you didn't know it before?
Not necessarily. I think we've seen, some of the lapses that we've had just recently. We've struggled against teams that have switched on us. We stagnate at times, and we've played well against it at times. So trying to find that balance and find that space where we can consistently play at a high level and not fall into, that stagnant situation where it just doesn't play out well. I give Boston credit. They kind of cross-matched at times and we're able to switch and keep kind of negate our pick and roll. Then they load up on us, and at times we showed this, this morning. We're essentially guarding ourselves. We pass and stand. It's, you got 9 guys watching the ball. So how do we find, ways to keep energy in it, create driving gaps, open up the floor, space correctly, and give ourselves an opportunity to play downhill? Once we do that, I think the game opens up. We had stretches where we generated open looks and they didn't fall for us. So do we have the resolve to go back on the other end and keep defending, and not let the offensive woes kind of weigh us down on the other end? So it's not necessarily unique to Boston, but we've seen some of these stretches and just trying to figure out how to avoid them.
And also for you and the way that you approach the next game, how big is the desire in the team to get back on the winning column?
Well, I think the desire is there. I mean, that's the first step. The next step is the action. And we all want things in life. Great. All right. So go get it. We have a plan in place. Now it's, make it actionable. And I think that's kind of the challenge. Is it's easy when it's on paper, but you go out and you start executing it and maybe it doesn't go well. Where do you go from there? Do you kind of go back into trying to do it on our own? Do we stick with it, and make sure we see it through?
Thank you very much, Coach.
We'll go to Wayne.
Hey, how you doing, Coach? With 30 so games left, just curious to know, what are some of your short-term goals before the All-Star break?
Well, I want to make sure we get a rhythm. I think, we talked about this prior to last night. Right now we have 11 games going into the break. Great opportunity. I think a lot of teams, you get distracted with the break. You start thinking about where I'm going, where, things I want to do, finally get a few days off. You can steal some games, and the flip side is, do we stay the course and kind of, stay locked in, stay committed to how we want to play, and make up some ground here early, knowing that when you come out of the break, you have 24 games and all of a sudden it's going to move quickly. So let's not wait. Let's have that sense of urgency to come out, attack these last 11 prior to the break with the right mindset.
And lastly, coach, just an observation I made yesterday. Although Trez didn't get a lot of playing time, he stayed after and got some shots up. He was still engaged on the bench. What does that say about Trez's, ability to stay locked in, even during, this type of, less playing time?
Well, I'm sure it's difficult. I've made it known to these guys that, at times as we shorten the rotation, minutes may be reduced. That doesn't mean it reduces your impact. He's a pro. I think he understands that. He's always kept himself ready to play. And that's shown, over his career. He's been sixth man of the year. He's been a sixth man of the year runner up. So I think he understands the value he can bring, and it's not always going to be, in the bulk of minutes, but when he's out there, he can impact winning. And to his credit, game got out of hand, and we tried to play small with Rui at the 5. We wanted to see TB get his minutes up a little bit and give other guys opportunity, but it doesn't stop him from being engaged in the group and trying to help bring those guys along.
Thank you, Coach.
And last question to Felix.
Hello again, Coach Unseld. Good afternoon. And I had a question regarding how the team was playing from behind. And I noticed that when the team was playing from behind, the shots were less consistent. And I was just wondering how much of that you'd attribute to the mental aspect and how you can possibly work on that during the practices.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily have the numbers in front of me that proves your point, but I think part of it is I look at the defense. And we actually talked about that this morning, where I think right now, fourth quarter defense, we're top 10 in the league. And, the question goes into, why do we wait? I think we're, middle of the pack first quarter, second and third quarters, we're bottom third, but, top 10 in the fourth. So whether that's the urgency to get stops because we are playing from behind, is that, just, hey, it's winning time. Let's lock in. But just trying to find a way to create some, sustainability where we're kind of doing this at a higher level and doing it more for 48.
Can I just add one more question? Oh,
Sure.
Sorry. So I just had one more question regarding that. I did take note that the defense was better in the fourth quarter, but I was just wondering if maybe it was it had something to do with maybe getting the offense and defense at that juncture of the game in sync. And I apologize for interrupting. I didn't intend to do
it's
that.
okay. Yeah, that's an issue. I think when you do get stops, it does give you the opportunity to get out and run. That usually lends to easy offense. Now, obviously we know it's a make or miss league. You can generate all the offense you want, but if you not make shots, it is what it is. Some nights, it's just going to be that way. But I do like the fact that we're trending in the right direction in the fourth quarter. That's, I think, why we've won so many close games. I think we have the second best record behind Phoenix in clutch games, and Phoenix has the best record in the league right now, last I checked. So we're doing something right. Can we find a way to do it sustainably?
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, Coach. All set. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.